Wonderful people, great Biafrans, and those sensible Nigerian youths, our listeners, lovers of freedom all over the world, we welcome you to this very special edition of our question and answer session on this very day. I believe that today's date is the 22nd, if I'm not mistaken, of January in the year of our Most High Elohim 2020. The time now is approximately 3 minutes past 9 a.m. in the blessed land of Biafra. As it is customary with us here, I say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to some of you, because I recognize that right across the surface of this very planet Earth, people are listening to us this very morning, even those of you from California in USA. I dread to think what time it is up there right now, but all of you are awake and you're listening to us, and I say welcome to each and every one of you. As always, we preach the gospel of redemption, the gospel of hope. We lecture, we educate, and we tutor on this very noble platform. And this morning is not going to be an exception to that very rule. I do know that some of our relay stations are having issues with retuning because there's quite a lot of them. But I do hope that some of you are listening via IPOB community radio. We are on satellite. We are also simulcasting this live on Facebook. If you're suppressed and you cannot join us, please go to Radio Biafra app as well. There you can also participate and listen to us. It's going to be an interactive session this very morning, because we recognize that some people have very pertinent and urgent questions to ask. And this morning we shall endeavor to field as many questions as possible, but you can only ask questions via Twitter. I think the link is on this very page, beneath this very page. If you go to Twitter and you ask us any question, very shortly I'll be joined by my principal secretary, Uchenna Okorafo, and then she will read out the questions and we should be able to answer them. But first of all, as it is customary and tradition with us, we must endeavor to pray. And we are going to pray in the language of heaven, the very oldest language on the face of this very earth. ndị nsọ na-abụ oche eze gị okirikiri ha na-akpụ isi ala nye gị ọbụla dị ndị okenye oru abụọ na anọ bụ ndị na-atụ mkpọ ọla edo na ala ha niile si na ịdị nsọ Chineke nna nke igwe n'ụtụtụ a ehihie abalị n'ụwa niile bụ ebe ụmụ gị gbasasịrị ka ụkpaka nna nke ebere dị ngọzi ka anyị na-akpọkọta ha eze ebube n'ime eluigwe wee na-arịọ gị ma mma gị na ebere gị amara gị na ọmịiko gị ebe ndị gị nọ anyị wee na-arịọ ka iru gị wee chaa n'ebe anyị nọ anyị wee na-arịọ gị eze ebube dị ngọzi ka igwe tinye ọgbaghara n'etiti ndị iro ka dị kụziri ka ha wee megide anyị onye nwe m na Chineke nna dị nsọ ka aka nsị ndị dị etu a wee baa ha ọnụ iji obodo ekwensị bụ zuu wee laa ya n'iyi anyị wee na-arịọ gị onye na-adịgide ma ruo mgbe ebighị ebi biko nụ ka iwe eme ka Biafra wee bịa ọsọ ọsọ nna nke bere na ụmụ gị atakwala n'ahụhụ anyị wee na-arịọ gị wee na-anya ezi echiche na amamihe mmekọrịta nwanne na nwanne dị n'otu ọganiru ịhụnanya nke pụrụ iche onye nwe m na Chineke nna ka i wee tinye ụmụ gị ezi mmụọ nke eziokwu ma wezụga anyị aka ajọ ihe n'ime ndụ anyị nna nke bere dị ngọzi God abụrụ ikpeta mazị na Biafra ga-abịa anyị ga-aja gị ma wee too gị wee gọzie aha nsọ gị isi ala nye gị bulie aha nsọ gị elu site n'ebighị ebi ma ruo n'ebighị ka a na-arịọ gị ise ise ise. This very morning, all of you, I believe that those who are watching know who we are and why we do what we do. My name is Nnamdi Kanu. I am the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra all over this very planet Earth, the director of Radio Biafra and Biafra Television, and by the very special grace of the Most High Elohim, a servant of the wonderful people of Biafra. We are live and we are direct this very morning, afternoon, or night, depending on where you are. And we start this very day by making it abundantly clear that the greatest enemy of the man is their wisdom. Today, we reason is very, very important. There is no need or reason why we should be suffering and complaining every blessed day without the courage to do something about it. Some of you tried to do something about it with the End SARS protest, but some of us quickly, or should I say some of you quickly capitulated because of your tribal affiliations or religious considerations. They managed to divide each and every one of you. But today you must make up your mind what you want to do. Do you want to change your lives, or do you want to continue residing in the damnable zoological republic with no hope, way, or means out of the mess that you're in? Why can't we change our lives? Those who are telling you that a revolution is not the best way to go about it, ask them, how come Russia is advanced today? How come the United Kingdom, Britain is advanced today? How come Germany is advanced today? How come France is advanced? How come Spain is advanced? How come the United States of America, of course, the greatest country on this very earth, is where they are today? Is because in each and every of these countries, there was a revolution. Either a violent overthrow of a very corrupt and inept regime, or there was what I would refer to as intellectual revolution. In Africa, none of these appears to be present at the moment. Those of them commenced and SARS tried as much as they can, but the forces that be overwhelmed them, the forces of darkness, the forces of hate, the forces of retrogression, the forces of iniquity prevailed, especially with the help of their journalists and their media houses. But this time around, we must prepare ourselves. But before we do so, we must ask this very important question. Are we all prepared for this very change that is about to come? Are we mentally tough enough to withstand all the garbage that will be thrown at us? Are you strong enough to jettison every emotional consideration that has to do with tribe, ethnicity, or religion? Once we are able to overcome all of this nonsense, believe you me, this very next phase of revolution will stand very, very strongly. Everybody knows Nigeria is a scam, a very big one at that. Nigeria is being run by an extremist bunch of dictators called the presidency. All of you know this. Everybody understands this very fact that Buhari is no more. You know Buhari is everybody knows. But those still picking this myth that Buhari is alive are those pinning their hopes on 2023. So this is a collection of odd bedfellows. These are people who are determined by every means available to cling on to power, to continue to impoverish you, to continue to allow terrorists from all across the Sahel to occupy your arms and force the only consideration is to keep you focused on this very elusive, better Nigeria to come. You and I know that Nigeria can never ever be better. We know that very well. The whole world understands that Nigeria can never ever be better. Why are you pinning your hopes on it? You're pinning your hopes on it so you can go to Dubai like Atiku and the rest of them and buy houses for your wives and your concubines. You are doing so because you think it's the turn of your village to eat money. And I have consistently asked this question. Biden has just been compared as the US president. Is he from your village? Boris Johnson from the United Kingdom, is he from your village? Is Angela Merkel from your ethnic group? I'm asking you in the zoo. But you prefer to live in all these countries, which means that ethnicity is irrelevant. What matters is the policies being pursued by any specific or particular government or regime, not where they come from. When people tell you nonsense about it is our turn, why don't we wait till 2023? They are only deceiving you. And if you allow yourselves to be deceived, things can only get worse. Fulani terrorists will take over your land. Time and time again, I have warned you on this very matter, but some of you never ever listened. I told our Yoruba friends that this thing you're supporting, this very evil government you're supporting, when they tagged IPOB a terrorist group, you supported them. You are going to pay a very heavy price for it. How the Yoruba journalist stood up and said, IPOB did nothing wrong. You cannot tag them a terrorist group. Believe you me, by today, you will not have Fulani people occupying Yoruba forests and farmlands. Because in this life, what goes around comes around. If you support evil today because you're benefiting, eventually that evil will overwhelm you. The same thing happened to APC. The same thing happened to Fulani Caliphate. They brought in terrorists from all across the Sahel. They brought them into Nigeria to try to force Jonathan out of office. Now Jonathan is out of office. They are now, of course, reaping this problem. Do you know that the North is in as much disarray as it has and breathing these terrorists? They were made to assume political power. They never knew there was another dimension to it. That these terrorists that they all created will come back to consume them. And that is what is happening today. It is the spillover of their same, should I say, terror effects that we are feeling right across the South. That was why we said with the launch of ESN that we cannot allow that nonsense to continue. They know they are not going to make any headway in the East. They have turned their attention to the West. They are forcibly occupying their land and telling them that they cannot do anything about it. A whole presidency in a country openly and brazenly supporting terrorists. All of you watching and listening all over the world, you know that Miyetti Allah is a terrorist organization. You know that. They have killed. They have said that Benue State is theirs for the taking as a spoil of war. All of you are aware of it. You know what they are doing. Anywhere you have Fulani headsmen, terrorists for that matter, they tell you, oh, they are pastoralists. They are allowed to do their businesses in the forest. All of you are aware of it. But you kept quiet, hoping that somehow Tinubu will emerge as the president, or an Igbo man will come as the president, and your family will start enjoying. But in the meantime, you have no more farmlands, you have no more forests, you have nowhere you can call your own home. The same stupidity exhibited by Hausa peasants that enabled Fulani to take Sokoto from them, that enabled Fulani to take Katsina from them, that enabled Fulani to take even Kanu from them. Every Hausa land is occupied either by a Fulani emir or a Fulani governor. Some of you don't want to reason, you don't ever learn that the main aim of Fulani is to conquer your land and enslave you. Look at Hausa people today. As I wrote yesterday, they are worse than a discarded tissue paper. They are worth nothing. Only their language is what is relevant in their lives. Everything else is lost. All of you are repeating the exact same mistakes that the Hausas made. That is why they are in trouble. And that is why they can never ever come out of it. They are all suffering from what I would an advanced version of the Stockholm Syndrome. Can you imagine that these people came into their land and took it over and they cannot do anything about it? Hausa is gone. It took Fulani very many years before they came out of their shell to say we are Fulani. Remember before, many years ago, they said we are Hausa Fulani. We are Hausa Fulani. Because that time, their subjugation of the Hausa race hasn't been completed. Now they have completed it. Have they not completed it? Then what is happening right now? I ask you what is happening now. Fulani have now come out to tell you we are Fulani people. Is that not what they are saying now? They are not telling you we are Fulani. No more Hausa Fulani. What does that tell you? That the Hausa race no longer exists. Do you want the same thing to happen to you? Do you want the same thing to happen to your families, to your villages? Do you want your towns, let's say Ogomosho, to be renamed into a Fulani name? Do you want Onisha to answer a Fulani name? Forget all the nonsense about unity of Nigeria. All they are uniting against is your common interest. Unless you prefer electric power supply, unless you prepare to live your whole life without running water, unless you want to live in abject poverty and deprivation, your only alternative is a revolution. Let nobody discourage you. All the countries of the world doing very, very well, they all went through a revolution. You must go through it. If you don't go through it, you can never ever survive as a people. Fulani will take you over. As simple as that. This very day, we are making it known to the whole world that the Muslim extremist dictatorship masquerading as a secular democratic government must be demolished. It must be demolished for you to survive. They have to be demolished. If you do not demolish them, your lives will end very, very miserably. I assure you. I assure you. The zoo is on its knees. Everybody knows that the zoo called Nigeria is on its knees. Who doesn't know that? Everybody knows. Nothing is functioning. You are all aware of it. When they say go and register for NIM or whatever rubbish is called, all of you trooped out without legislation, without any laws. Fulani can control you however they like. Once they announce it, Yoruba newspapers very foolishly and stupidly will support them because they want Tinubu as the president. And you are all dying every blessed day. You are all dying every day. Had you people risen up today that what is happening in Nigeria is bad, there is no way that Fashoranti's daughter will not be alive today. That is the price you pay for duplicity. That is the price you pay for treachery. That is the price you will continue to pay until you rise up and say enough is enough. It is up to you to do it. You did during NSAS. You can do it again. Can you imagine Fulani people telling you, if you remove Fulanis from Yoruba forest, imagine Fulani telling you, if you remove them from your ancestral lands, there will be war, and you are panicking, and you have not asked yourself, why are they not saying about it? Why did they not say to Eastern Security Network? Why did they not say to me, if you don't stop evacuating Fulani terrorists from the forest, there will be war? Because they know, they understand psychologically that you don't have what it takes to resist them. Do you know why Borno State is still alive? Why you still have the Kanu people in Borno today? was because they resisted the Fulani centuries ago. You have to go back to history to understand how Nigeria came into existence. Fulani has been expanding from day one, from Senegambia. All the way from Senegambia, they've been expanding, and now they are in Okigwe. All the way from Senegambia, they are now in Okigwe. And you're asking us to somehow fold our hands and keep quiet because of 2023, because one idiot is going to come out to become a president, because of that rubbish, because of that nonsensical notion, we should fold our hands and wait until we are overrun by the Janjaweed from the Sahel. Is that how reasonable people think? Is that how people that wish to survive as a race, is that how they reason? It is very, very shocking that some of you do not understand what the Fulanis have in store for you. Very, very soon it is going to happen. And when it happens, your eyes will clear. And about whom you will see it very clearly. I was warning you in 2014, 2015, they said he's a warmonger. He's a warmongering. I went to America and told World Igbo Congress that this war you are avoiding is going to come to your villages. They said, no, it's not going to happen. What is happening today? When Yoruba was supporting this, the dead idiot called Buhari, did I not warn them that this evil you're supporting will consume you? They never listened. They never wanted to listen. IPOB is a terrorist group. You're trying to divide Nigeria. But Mietiana is not. People that you are calling bandits, have you heard anybody come out to say, please, Buhari, since presidency is there defending terrorists in the forest, why don't you proscribe them? No, you cannot proscribe a Fulani group. Never. And all of you are supporting evil. When there is the proscribed IPOB, proscribed indigenous people of Biafra. These are Yoruba journalists writing junk. Every day they keep writing rubbish. But their land is under siege. Their land is under siege. And the Fulani take it. It doesn't take time. So I am here today to encourage them that they must stand tall and be very strong, resolute. That is what Fulani does. They control the media. They have well-paid consultants all over the world doing their bidding for them. They have that woman at UN trying to lobby the world that everything is okay in the zoo called Nigeria. But you and I know that the zoo is not okay. You and I know the game plan of the Fulani. And what are you doing about it? Nothing. Every day you read, you lament, you complain. Every day you read, you lament. And that's all you do. That is all you do. You read, you lament, you complain. You do nothing about it. Your lives are being taken away from you. Your forests are being occupied. Your mothers are being raped. Your daughters are being abducted. And the whole national government, presidency, is supporting such people. And you're telling me that Nigeria is viably sustainable. Is that what you're telling me? That somehow this contraption is sustainable, it is viable. It can never be. Because the more you stay in one Nigeria, the more you are inviting the Fulanis to take over your ancestral lands, take over your villages, and to make life a misery for you. That is the end game. That is the outcome. If you doubt me, go and do a bit of research. Ask yourself, who are the Hausa people? Who are the Nupe people? Who are the Bachama people? All of these people were steamrolled by the Fulani march to the Atlantic Ocean. And now the Yoruba, they're in their forests. They are in their forests. And who's going to drive them away from there? If not the Yoruba youths. Forget about your useless governors. Your elders are very strong. I love Yoruba elders. The way they behave, the way they talk. Very, very strong. They said they support Akeredolu. So there's the governor of Ondo State. They support him in what he's doing. People must come out to say that enough is enough. When you travel to the north, do you live in the forest in the north? The Igbo people in Sabongeri in Kanu, are they living in of course it's Hausa land, are they living in the forest? They came to the town, they work very hard, they build houses, they build mansions, they develop the entire place. Is that not what they do? What are Fulani people doing in our forest? Nobody can answer that question. They say that they're pastoralists. I want some of you have had your breakfast this morning. Please go to your fridge or go to where you keep your beverages and you will see pig milk. Pig. Some of us were raised on pig milk. For how many years now? And you keep asking yourself, what is pig milk? Pig milk is mineral. The same milk that the cows produce in Holland can be produced in the zoo. Tell me the country in the world aspiring to be a member of the UN Security Council where you move cattle from place to place. Are you people well at all? You so-called Nigerians, are you normal in the brain? I'm asking you a simple question. Show me a country that aspires to be in the 21st century moving cattle from place to place. Tell me that is it. Which country is that? Of you don't have any shame when you have people, an entire presidency coming out to defend a very primitive, archaic agricultural practice. Then you know you embrace those mess. You are in one almighty trouble. I'm telling you, you people are in a mess. The Holland that you get your pig milk from, do they move cattle from Rotterdam to Amsterdam? I'm asking you a simple question. But they produce the pig milk that you're drinking every blessed day. Why can't Fulani produce pig milk in Sokoto? Why can't they produce carnation milk in Kanu? They have the cattle. Before that man came, did you see any Fulani in your forest? All these people talk rubbish about movement of cattle and movement of. I'm asking you, before Britain came and handed over Nigeria to Fulani, ask your grandfathers, please, or your grandmothers. Ask them. All this nonsense we are hearing today in this so-called one, I want to tell you the dangers of one Nigeria. All this nonsense you're hearing today about one Nigeria, Fulani in our forest, Fulani in our village. Before the white man came, did you see Fulani moving their cattle all over the place? Did we not have meat to eat? They will answer these questions for you. Because sometimes in Africa, we don't reason very well. The way we reason is disjointed. It is disjointed. I can't understand for the life of me why instead of them to waste all that money arming and equipping this Janjaweed army to come and conquer you and I, why don't they open a milk factory somewhere in the north and bring the milk down south? I'm sure Southerners will buy it. After all, pig milk comes all the way from Holland. Pig milk all the way from Holland. Now you understand it. Because of the way you people reason. Why can't you produce? Is it difficult to produce milk? The same milk that comes out naturally from the udder of the cow. Why can't you can it somewhere, pasteurize it, and send people to eat, to drink, or to do whatever with? All over the world, that is what is happening. In fact, they produce so much milk in Europe that they pour it away. Why can't you do the same thing? A whole president claiming they are supporting a very primitive practice of moving cattle from place to. All of you, you're not ashamed of yourselves. You have no shame. As somebody will say, your shame is shaming me. I'm telling you, you people from the zoo, I'm ashamed of your ignorance and stupidity. You people are hopeless, completely hopeless. One day, one idiot to come and say, well, we are intellectuals, and you're moving cattle from Kafanchan to Ahoda. You are intellectuals. You are intellectualizing. You are in the 21st century. You are moving cattle, driving cattle now from over 300 miles. Claiming Yoruba forest is the place for you to be in. You want to relax Yoruba forest. Every Nigerian is free to live anywhere and do their business anywhere. Yes. But when an Igbo man tries to sell beer in Kanu, you destroy it. You destroy their hotels, but you can come down to the south and live anywhere you like and graze anywhere you like. And you're telling me that is a country, that is one Nigeria for you? The Fulanis we are talking, they call them the Funa movement. Our attention has been drawn to a decree credited to one Rotimi Akeredolu, asking Fulani people who have occupied some forests in Ondo State to quit. We are also aware of another incident in Oyo State where an illiterate political talk gave quick notice to Fulani people to leave their territories, which are now their irreversible homes. Are you listening? Fulani are now saying that Yoruba forest is now their irreversible homes. They have now occupied Yoruba land in perpetuity. And I want to let my Yoruba friends understand this. You see, in life, anytime you support evil, evil will come back to haunt you. All of you never knew that IPOB and this Biafra movement was for your liberation. Some of you saw maybe the oil and gas from Biafra land. If they go now, we'll have access to oil and gas. In the process of having your eyes fixated on oil and gas, your forest is gone. Do you understand it? There is nothing more precious in life than freedom. I need you to understand this very morning. Every Yoruba person supporting Fulani, you are setting up yourself to become like the Hausa people. Remember when Hausa was supporting Fulani? We are Hausa Fulani, we are Hausa Fulani. Where are the Hausa people today? I ask you. Where are those Hausa people today? Say we are Fulani, we are Hausa Fulani. Do you say that? Do you see asking you? No, because Fulani have completely overwhelmed them. It's called emancipation. Completely emancipated. Look at what we're doing in the East. In the East, they come to the East, I will tell you, oh, you want to be the president or vice? Yeah. They say, give us land for Ruga. They give them land. The soldiers of Kanu did that law, Banta. They give it to forever and ever. Not to them put you out to your stool to give us land in Olu. God give them land in Olu. We can go and kill people in Obibo. We can kill them. How many people from us are prepared to kill? I didn't say normal people. I'm dangerous in this. How many Fulani governors? Go and read your newspapers, you will see it there. Fulani governors are engaging with them, giving them arms, giving them vehicles, making sure that their life is no longer. See, they come to the town. They treat us and go and kill people to prove us that you want it. That's why she was talking there 4 days ago. Supported by the BBC. The problem you people have in Nigeria is this. Your job is people, Punch newspaper, Tribune, Vanguard, and Nation. They are your second worst enemies. I'm telling you the truth. They can never ever be objective in their reportage. Never ever. That's why all of you are suffering. But you don't know it. They were the same people used to scuttle the NSAS protest. Of course, some of you went about looking for warehouses. Typical black people. Any revolution that is coming now, you must stand very firm. They'll say, oh, you are Igbo. Oh, you are Yoruba. Oh, you are from Urobo. Don't join them. It's our third 2023. If you do this, you will scuttle our chances of becoming the president in 2023. Ask yourself, all of them that have been president from time immemorial, what benefits it brought to you as a human being? Absolutely nothing. So you have nothing to lose. Absolutely nothing to lose. You look at them now, how they have now descended on Yoruba people, asking them to concede, give us your forest, we must graze, we must do this, we must do that. And slowly before your eyes, they are giving in, they are capitulating, they are allowing them to, if you don't give it to us, so Tinubu will not be president in 2023. Tinubu won't be president. That I say to you. And foolishly you will agree and hand over your them. And once they take your hand over you, look at Hausa. Because there is a saying where we come from. If you want to know what your life is going to become in the future, look at Hausa people. If you want to understand, appreciate, I would say, the life that you are about to bequeath to your children and grandchildren, look at Hausa people. Is there any Hausa governor today? Is there any Hausa emir? Is there land though? Katsina is Hausa land. Kanu is Hausa land. Sokoto is Hausa land. The Hausa people own it, indigenous to those areas. I'm asking you this question. Is there any Hausa man who's an emir in the north? The answer is no. Something's going to happen to you. If you don't rise up now to break, I'm not even asking people to break this rule. Demand for what rightfully belongs to you, your freedom. The freedom to decide. The freedom to write a constitution if you prefer. The freedom to live with whoever you want to live with. That is what we're asking for. But most people misunderstood what we are saying. And today, almost everything we have said about the zoo has come to pass. Everything we have told you, everything I told you has come to pass, hasn't it? Everything. And some people are still questioning and arguing. They said, Fulani will resist by all means necessary, including armed resistance, any attempt to forcefully eject them from the forest. Yoruba, you must ask yourself this question. When we were pursuing them from Ebonyi, why didn't they say something about ESN or Nnamdi Kanu? Why? Have you asked yourself that question? Because they know we are prepared to die to defend our land. They understand that very well. That is the only language the Fulani understand. You cannot say to Fulani, oh, let us have a Fulani president. And after that, all will be. They will continue to start. They will continue to identify idiots in your midst. Traitors, saboteurs in your in order to ensure that you Yoruba, how did you lose a Lorin? You lost a Lorin because somebody felt that himself with what he felt was a superior Fulani force, he can defeat his own people. Afonja, what happened? As a result of that miscalculation, the great Yoruba race lost a Lorin to Fulani Caliphate. That is why in a Lorin you have an emir of a Lorin, not an Oba of a Lorin, answerable to Sokoto. That is where Lai Muhammad comes from. You can see them. Sokoto slaves in Yoruba land. When it has nothing to do with religion. It has everything to do with the mentality of the conquered people. Now they have not having taken a lot and taken it to Sokoto, they now want to come into Oyo, they want to come into Ondo. Once they take over all those places, it's over for the Yoruba race. Over for you. No, never again will anybody rise a man of honor or integrity in Yoruba land. Never ever. It will only be their stooge. Look at what's happening in the East. Only Fulani stooges can now imagine the East. It took them very many years, 90 years, to accomplish this very simple task of making sure that everybody, be it Ohanese, be it Pandef, be it governor, anybody you're bringing out must come to the north to swear allegiance to the caliphate. All of them, ban on. Is there any political godfather in the East? There is none. They all go to the north to go and swear allegiance to the angel. That is why our life is nice. That is why there's going to be also the Mazi president in front of eyes, in front with Koro, and what they bribed him, they gave money to BBC, they gave money to all two newspapers, they started trying you're under they done without shame. Understand, don't cannot become talking rubbish. The man looks like a judge. These people they have prepared for you to send you on the brain. By the time with you, believe me, if you don't rise up now to fight for your freedom, by the time Fulani are done with you, you more useless. Doing your body. So I say, that is the people with you. Now, our people must understand this very clearly, especially my brothers and sisters. It is our time you stop supporting that evil is a gang of reprobates calling themselves presidency. The more you keep on supporting evil in the zoo, the more the land will come from you. The more your daughters will be adopted, the more your sons will be slaughtered in cold blood. And under one Nigeria, there is nothing you can do about it. Absolutely. Because one idiot that they groomed will rise up and say to you, oh no, this Nigeria, there is crime everywhere. Haven't heard about Katina. There is crime everywhere. That's what it is. The crimes you have enough, the insecurity you have enough is as a direct consequence of their own action. They group and ISIS was Boko Haram, Fulani headsmen, bandits, all of them. Who was in Nigeria? He's Fulani. Fulani brought them to Nigeria. Every brought them in. Bounty state government brought them in. And people deaf and dumb and stupid because come out and you pretend, oh, we are one. Go and join something with the boundary, or with the boundary of the African. Ask you where the problem. People from Niger come in and go as they like. Most of this is from Niger. They build a pipeline to Niger. They are building a rail line to Niger. They are building roads to Niger. Whereas where the money comes from, which is Biafra land, we don't have those infrastructure. But you come to you come to Ebony, you take our resources, sell it, get me, and now you are building a way to share properly. And you want me to be happy with you. Clap for you all. Nigeria is doing well. One Nigeria. I think the issue that you're saying. You come to the land, you take our oil, you take our gas, our money, take everything, our VAT, our tax that we pay. You are now building a road from Kasi to here. Airport in here. Refinery in here. You take all crude oil from America to the refinery, give back as refined petroleum or affiliate, call it. And you're telling me that that country is viable. You're telling me that we are one not anywhere. Because those that they are appointed to speak for you, they give them more ambitions. So that they will come out on the pages of history to give the world the misleading impression that is okay when things are not okay. Go through segments of our hand and see contradictions in it. Nigeria is not working. And then you come back and say Nigeria is one. We must stay in it together. Are you foolish? These are useless lectures. On one hand, you say Nigeria is not working. You're marginalized. You're being discriminated against. You're something that kills you. And you come back to the same place and say Nigeria must be one. How I just got into that to say I want to be part of this useless contraption. That's entirely their business. I'm never upset. But I ask myself this question. Why is it that all those asking you to mean one Nigeria have something to gain from Nigeria or have benefited in the past? Nothing more, nothing less. I saw a letter to provide. In it, I said to come and help fight terrorism in order to ensure that there will be no regional destabilization. That is the game plan of the U.S. statement for very many years until we stepped in. They told them denials. Once Nigeria breaks up, there will be destabilization on African. Most of them take once they say I'm insulting them, I'm not insulting you. Most of them did it. In Africa, we are tribal close in Africa. In Africa, we are tribal creatures in Africa. When we go back to were born, we are on Lake Kodano, that's what come from. Migrating back to where we come from. And keep sending to Africa understand this. They don't understand it. Everywhere in Africa, in South Africa, everybody from to go. You go back and go down the moon. Everybody living the capital of Africa, they go back to the place. They go back to the church from. Do they do that in the Western world? People think, oh, I can't afraid of it. No, you don't. Because people from there, we can be our ancestors. No, and different like Africa. We come from the that is what makes us Africans. It's very, very unique. If you destroy that, you're finished as a people. In Africa, first and foremost, we belong to our tribe where we come from. That is why our people need to appreciate this. Very, very critical. That Africa is restructured to recognize where people come from. All that creations by Europeans, Nigeria, these are all rush. That's why you can never ever make any room for the next billion years. You can never make a profit. Why, if we are not right, why would the whole president come out? For any president to come and say, we are failing full announcement? A presidency of the whole Nigeria speak. It is because they are tribal beings in Africa. That is why Nigeria is unsustainable. That is why the man from Shekiri has to vote to say, this is what I want to do. That is why the referendum is doing well forward. That is why Africa is poor. Africa is for like this who we are. You cannot even let people bring Christians coming to go to this. You must that you come from. And if you ask, oh, we're born in Lagos, you will say, no, that's not where it's come from. That's the parents who say, where it's come from. They will keep going back until they get to the 100th generation. That we are. And nobody can change it. We are not born the states. Some people were born along Okota in Lagos. Maybe they are from Robo. You are from Robo, but I was born in this is where I come from. That is who we are. That is why all this useless idiotic countries created by that cannot stop. I never ever. And how to stop it? Only a revolution. Only a revolution. If you like meaning of ever, only a revolution can solve this very problem, because under a revolution, the powers that be used are making life a miserable will throw away. It's all popular uprising. Don't let anybody deceive you. Don't let anybody deceive you. And that is so soldiers are listening and are from the army. How can you be a soldier in the Nigerian army and your village is being covered by next men? Imagine those from Nigerian my brothers serving in Nigerian. You are from Yoruba, you are serving in Nigeria. Being Nigeria. By following the people you are serving or you claim you serving, your village. Those you are having one Arabic inscription, or should I say more of order than you to make office Nigeria. You don't know that Nigeria and the PM of Nigeria is more honor than to put a house up. So that is the you are under the ban of the conquerors. Means this forest. And now sending the advance right from your village. And you're doing Nigerian army. That is what are coming. The 100 soldiers have resigned so from army. If you don't do this, you let I'm telling them now, remember 2015, remember 2014, remember 2010, I told you all these things. I told you what was going to happen now before eyes. Isn't it? I'm telling you now. If you're serving in Nigerian army, and you think you're not you think you're serving Nigeria is not a father and mother of anybody. Nigeria is not a motherland of father anybody. Nigeria is purely a rich creation. A rich creation. Because if Nigeria was to be a nation or country, that is not way. Those that call themselves the presidency ask for account to support illegality in Kanu State. Because they know they are doing it. Why do you think they want to arrest for Nnamdi? Why? They know that Nnamdi and his people to be fighting for them. They do that. I can't talk for until I know I'm hearing Hausa from anymore. No, it's not funny because I feel like that is one thing is one time. People must begin to appreciate it. In Nigeria, and some Nigerian army, you are only paving the way for the conquest of your village, the rape of your daughter and the death of your mother. I'm telling you this. Nigerians, But what planning have got in store for you to overwhelm to conquer you? I feel sorry for those of you who are so that they can reason very well. There are people who are going too much because a lot of people watching numbers are watching daily. People who are out of cowardice and self-hate that Nigeria somehow can be won. Let us know that Nigeria is a country. All of you also understand the intentions of the family. Oh, if you have work for it. You know, you just work for it. How is it working for it? You must condemn anybody who comes out against our forest. That's what they're doing. Some of you don't understand it, but we do. Some of you don't understand what's happening, but we do. And that's why we are here to tell you. The real terrorists in us, they are up there. Now, is telling you, you cannot touch them. People killing people in but it's not touch them. A whole business to tell you every full man is in it. Yes, soldiers and yeah. Have you all forgotten that they gave me like 100 million? Have you all forgotten? No, they don't their need. Have you all forgotten? So from that this so-called president Gabashev gave me 100 billion to come down the south to give us to US monarchs, traditional rulers. So our forest have you all forgotten? Of course, you're the zoo person. Did they give 100 billion to any organization? Did they give 100 billion to any other group? While the government give 100 billion to a bunch of terrorists, only claim that's enough. That's why government come out openly without shame to support terrorists in Yoruba for us. Let them go to our land. I know that there was some stupid video that is installation. You know, listen, they can't. They have no. I'm sure they give money to idiots and give them guns to say the Biafran army. I don't know about 6 or 7. Which is a lie. It's this issue. So they can have justification to Biden or US. Can you see now how Biafran army we can now move to attack them? Anybody that if I involved to take over, you want to do for any child with this with our land. That's what you're doing. We shall get that later. Anybody involved in the segregation of that view is on. I'm telling you the truth. And those create it. That's how people because they don't understand the people are the foolish. Fulham will come to you. I want to use the soccer because how which one is governor? From where? How people? That will bring the governor with number over 200,000. Stand the reserve is only somewhere. So having for French and math. Who get column? Check a uno. We know the bad as we see them. He wants people against him vote for Buhari in 2015, they're still alive. Buhari died in 2017. People, all of you that are dead. Today is your most old. You isn't fresh. Nobody knows this anymore. All of you are there because the time of the village. Your sister house member. You don't lose that man that is coming every day. Come out on social media and not talk about you don't understand. Economic skill. Some of you cannot see that. You want to strong. Your face like I want to because you are your benefit. Come out that line over for you because of the level, should I say, what ideas inside you. Hey, those are the fan building. What used to lament, saying battle and you go to sleep and then gets done at it. It was I'm very, very grateful to Elohim that the courage that you have in the language of Israel, The current and what could they know to family because of ESN. Because of Eastern Security Network. That's why they found the page to after all the years. They arrested all these months without coming with ESN. Because we're going to flush out family heads of because they are so they say, oh, as well do the same thing as well. In order to God being some will cut us off. They got some plan where they're making or whatever, according to again where we are trying to use they shouldn't be left hand. That's what we have found. We said we fit one. We know we have come. You are behind useless people calling themselves their family. Show your face my face on video. I claim ownership of ESN, not national trust. I am responsible for ESN. And listen for family. If you claim your human being, that's a result and the work of DS. You don't have discipline. You don't have discipline. That was white man. You got it. That's a white man must have missed you from Senegal. God knows. Lack discipline. Any idiot thing can live. They don't know what it entails. Everyone thinks, oh, maybe you have it. Nobody is funding APOB ESN. It's only evidence saying why. If you think you can bring people to do rifles, and because of that, you can't earn funds. You are wasting your time. You don't know what they won't give. They come to one sex over. There's something they did in the culture of Biafra. And I want to ask you for something today. So you don't understand even what God died. You know, you read it, tell you don't want to put your brain behind to what it means. You have no idea. When they came up with today Igbo is our problem. Today, all that oil spill in your go and take it up and ask me a question. Have they been telling your Igbo your problem? Yes. Have they been oil spill in your life? You are making them to be the mess. How many of you go well for good? Even your problem, they will come. I want this job to see us to take our to meet us of you crying about night evangelization. All these years that you have nothing to do. Have you survived? I'm asking. Have you survived? Let me tell you something they don't know. The free world, they have this organization called Nnamdi. Who are they? The North Atlantic Free Organization. That every civilization should be lost. Who are leaders of nature? It's some matter. Somebody must lead. It cannot be everybody. One person or a group of they must lead because they have the text. God gave it, made it so in this that we are all related anyway. As people, that's why you have indigenous people in Bayelsa, indigenous people in rivers, indigenous in Delta, majority Igbo people. Everywhere, all the way you go to Migodo, in Edo State, in England. God made it so for a reason. The first revolution in Nigeria was led by an Igbo man. Nzo. That is where God made us. I can't apologize for it. Because if we leave it, we cannot do it. The billion years in man, you can't do it. You cannot do it. Because you don't have what it takes to confront the Janjaweed. We do, you don't. With all due respect. Is a good land. Do they have clean water? Do they have good schools? The same for Ijo. Ijo, do you have good roads and good schools? Good health care? No. Somebody in office for 4 years or 8 years, he will build one community center and say, the difference of democracy. As okay, whereas he's planning to get his children to Australia. Every day you wake up to them, every day you wake up to the same page, day after day after day after day. And what is your response? The same thing over and over and over again. You come back and say, oh, I'm from Ishekiri. We are not part of what they're doing. And you accept. And look at your life and how miserable it is. You lament, but you don't have what it takes to make much needed change. They said, oh, the government of Ondo State and others must draw a boundary. We are who are the bandits and who are the law abiding. How can we know? I'm going to phone about my phone and women can phone all the lizards, all the lizards. They are all the stomach is on the floor. So we don't know which one has belly ache. How do we know? How can you differentiate between a good headsman and a terrorist headsman? How can you know? How can you know? I'm asking you. Continue all your lives. Look at how this. After installing those of them, they installed the Hope of Yozo. Yozo was the man that took Hope of them to the north to go and introduce him as a politician. The same also them that is an intellectual. You know, fools. Once they get they say you're an intellectual. George Yozo, before he took Hope of them to the north, they took that Hope of them was doing 419 in Lagos. He was a fraud and doing Yahoo in Lagos. Who don't know in New State that Hope of them was a fraud in Lagos? These are the type of leaders that they impose. Idiots. And we are Apex organization, Apex. These are errand words for the caliphate. That's why BC is promoting him. That is why they are all promoting. That is what they all have always done. Black people are like that. I told you before, when the British came to stop the eastern advance of the French forces in Benin Republic, in Badagry, basically in Badagry. You know what Britain did? They didn't go to England and bring soldiers. They went to Ghana. They recruited Ghanaians, black niggers from Ghana to come help them to conquer their niggers in Nigeria. They didn't have to go travel very far. That is why I keep saying that the brain of a black man is his greatest impediment. You see, inside this brain, everything a black man is suffering from is here. Inability to reason. Inability. It is the truth I must tell you. Some may not like it, I will tell you. You cannot, the presidency telling you cannot unilaterally push out headsmen. What are they doing in the bushes, in the forest? And they said, if you feed their cattle, before the white man came, where were you feeding your cattle from? Where? What was your feeding them? They said it's climate change, of course, a lie. You came from very barren, arid Sahel. No rain in Sahel for centuries. It's not today. You were able to keep your cattle, you drink the blood and you drink the milk, that's how you survive. Now, what are you doing in Ondo Forest? Our people cannot see because they're blind. People cannot see because they are blind. But we are here to open your eyes. We are here to open your eyes. The time now is exactly 4 minutes past 9. Sorry, we are 4 minutes. What am I think that is UK time. It's 4 minutes past 10. I'm looking at the UK clock. It's 4 minutes past 10 a.m. in the blessed land of God. We are under the one age of the zoo because a few years want to be president of Nigeria. Because after that, then what happens? All of them killing themselves marginal presidency from the so-called Nigeria Delta or Yoruba that was dying because of Obasanjo presidency. Where are they today? That's the ones saying that things are not okay. So you think as a Igbo man, if you're there for 80, somehow, miraculously, you change anything, you don't see why they killed him. It's your brain. It was meant to be Alex Ekwem after Shagari. Buhari overthrew the government, 1983. Some of you don't know history. Rather than allow an Igbo man to become the president, they did a coup. Some of you need to reason very well. Oh, also you claim you went to school, you should be able to use your brain. Okay, can you leave the people who are foolish? They cannot, because of the well, if you change it, Abuja. Now, because you don't suffer and die. Take a book on there, you've not seen them yet. You've not seen them yet. At this point in time, let us take some questions. We will continue. If you want to say us a question, please. I'm not going to take a direct call. I'll call my secretary, and then she will be able to tell us precisely who is who are the ones asking questions, and what they're going to go to Twitter and ask your question on Twitter. When you ask a question on Twitter, then I will be able to answer it on air. You can ask anything you like, and I will answer it. And can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, go ahead. We have any questions from people that require my response?
Yes. First, good morning, and good morning, everyone. Thank you all for joining us for this Q&A session. And I'm going to start with question 1. Okay, so question 1 is, good morning, sir. It appears that Oduwa is getting pretty hot at the moment and onward.
Your English is too American for us. You know, we're from the village. This English is too American. Please break it down. Raise your voice for me, please. Raise your voice and break it down for us, if you can, please. Because this grammar is too Americanized. This Akata is somehow for us that grew up in the village. Please go ahead.
Sorry. Okay. It appears that Oduwa is getting pretty hot at the moment and onward. Is IPOB ready to offer moral and logical support to them?
Yes, and we have been doing so. We have been doing so, and we shall continue to do so. We want them to do what we have help. To recognize Nigeria is a mess. A recognition that Nigeria is a hopeless case, and come to fight for it. Not all the time the family will give them something, as they promised Chief Okomi will make you the president after this and all that, and they buy into it. It will never ever happen. What we are saying to them, they must come out and support what we are doing, and that is a referendum. Everybody must demand a referendum that gives you a say in how you are governed, in how your children are going to come. And the only thing that can bring about is the revolution. Start with the revolution, they will now the first to capitulate. That will have a referendum. That must be a referendum. So we are willing and prepared to offer them every support that they want. Of course, anytime, any day. Next question, please.
Nigeria Army resigning. Some of them will send to ESN acknowledging that they've resigned, but this is a lie plan by Zoo government. My question is, how are we supposed to leave the resigning soldiers in ESN, because this is a plan of Nigerian government trying to send spies to ESN camps?
We have a very special recruitment and induction procedure that will root out every fake soldier or every unpatriotic soldier trying to join ESN. Is not going to happen. We have filters in place, and when the time comes, we will root out the bad things within them. But I must encourage them to continue resigning, because what you have is not an army of the nation. What you have is an army of conquest by the Janjaweed rulers of the zoo. And we must do everything we can to demolish and dismantle it. And please, can you give me the names of the people who are sending on all these messages? We need to know their names. We want to know their names. It's very important that we know who is asking all these questions, please, if I.
Okay, let me check.
Do we have any other question?
So this is from Bucci Law. How can we inform ESN when we notice unusual moves in our beloved Biafra lands?
We are everywhere. IPOB family is in every village, in every nook and cranny of Biafra land. You don't even need to bring it to our attention. We will know already, even before you. Once we come across them, then we do needful. You may not hear about it, but they will not disturb you anymore. We are working tirelessly night and day to make sure that our farmlands and our forests are rid of all these terrorists from Sahel. And we are not going to rest until we have accomplished the complete eradication of terrorists from our villages and our forests as well. So you shouldn't worry at all now about them.
Kinadu says, Oyendu, good morning. My humble question is this: why do we have to congratulate Joe Biden when we know how shady his election is and how it portrays us as people, Democrats, who I think you want to say who have hatred for us even before we knew what they are?
He has been sworn in as the US president. We have no choice than to acknowledge and recognize him. I've said before, as it is the case with zoo, if you bring out a goat and say, this goat is our president, the world will have no alternative than to accord that very creature every privilege, every right, every respect due. Americans have sworn in Joe Biden, and he is the president of the USA. And that is the end. We all need to be politically mature in a way. Are we now saying that we have the right to intervene in US electoral process? No, we don't. The same way when Biafra comes, we will not anyone to dabble in or interfere in ours. Of course, we are going to conduct very free and fair elections, and we shall ensure that that is the norm. But when people produce a president, you don't have any right. I am not an American citizen, so I have no right to challenge the decision of the American people. It's entirely up to them to decide. So for now, Joe Biden is the president of America, and we have no other choice than to go with it. That's how life is, unfortunately.
Okay, so the next question is from Marcus Graham. When we get Biafra for our American and Canadian Eastern brothers and sisters, how do we get them to fully invest when many aren't aware?
Invest in what exactly?
I'm not, he didn't really state it. Let me go to the next question.
Yeah, we need to know what the investment is about. Because Biafra is going to be run, we must acknowledge the importance of what investment. I am an economist, so I understand all these things. There's something called investment. And we try and do what sensible people do. Instead of having pig milk in Holland, bringing in pig milk to us, we allow them to have a farm, dairy farm in Biafra land, where cows will be milked. And that very milk pasteurized, and canned and distributed. Do you understand what I'm saying? So we know how to make Biafra land viable economy. You shouldn't worry about it.
Okay. And this question for Victor: how can we do Ohaneze to help us get Biafra as regards to one of the points to be earned according to UN condition?
Ohaneze Ndibo, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's just like there's also another useless group called Bandef. The thing is that Ohaneze can do whatever they like. How many people can they command? Have they issued a command before and they want to bet them? How have they done? See, people must ask themselves, what has Ohaneze done from this now? What have done? I can tell you what Igbo's team did. High school and all the rest of the scholarships I give to people. Name one thing Ohaneze has ever done before. One. And support them. The answer sadly is no. They have done absolutely nothing, and they do not deserve support for people. They are useless. They are absolutely useless. All this is like a Janjaweed club for Sabo, Janjaweed Sabo club. That's what they do. All they do is they sit there and say, give us a name of somebody who can be minister. That's what they do. Tell me one achievement. Now what they must say, oh, I'll eradicate every police checkpoint and will do this and I will do. How did you do it? Didn't Nyanwo to do it? Instead, checkpoints exploded exponentially. They never accomplished not one thing he said he was going to do. They accomplished in 4 years. That's how they want to be president of Nigeria. Please go ahead. Please.
Biafra Technology said, "Sir, why can't we just declare Biafra independent and start living on our own? If they reward us for that, then we fight it. And again, take the war to them, because how I'm seeing things in Nigeria, and you're not ready to let Biafra go. You better take it now, I fight."
The reason why you must do things in a particular way is because we are Republicans by nature. There are some things you do, and people will say, "Who did you consult? Who did you tell?" There is a saying where we come from, which means how small this animal is, it deserves a place at where decisions are being taken. No matter how small or how big we are, everybody, regardless of how idiotic the person's opinion may be, they are entitled to be heard. We are the original Democrats. Before any other race in the world, we are original Republicans, so you must be seen to carry the majority along, and that's exactly what we do. When the time comes, Biafra will try to be declared, and our territories will be defended. That's what we are going to do at the right time. The consultations are ongoing. Everything humanly possible is being done to ensure that we do what's right. Right now, at this very precise minute, the time hasn't come, and we just can't declare for now. The time is not right.
King Don, my question is, why the so-called Sabos fail to understand that IPOB is fighting to free our people from the slavery we are into? Thank you.
Because we are all black people, and black people do not reason very well. I've said that before. And I have also alluded to the example of white people using black people to conquer black people. That is the way we are. So they always be saboteurs, but this year is the year of the great hunt, and we are hunting for them, and some of them begin to feel the heat as well. I'll give you another example. Look at that, for instance, we woke up this morning with a very shambolic, useless video being submitted of very horribly dressed human beings claiming they are Biafran. Just somewhere saying they're Biafran. That's how black people reason, because there's something wrong with us. But thankfully for IPOB, we are now able to get a lot of people together reasoning properly and pursuing one very unique outcome, which is our freedom. So they're always up to us, but we are all going to defeat all of them, one after the other.
Okay. Only Kachi said, why are some influential Igbo leaders and business people not supporting IPOB? Some are even campaigning for Igbo presidency. And what is IPOB doing about that?
People are free to do whatever they like, because they are not coming out openly to support Biafra because of their business interest, because they are selfish, because they do not understand what racism is, because also they were groomed by Fani Janjaweed to do exactly what they are doing. That's the reason why they are the way they are. People, let me tell you something. Everybody who was a multi-millionaire after the war is a saboteur during the war. That's what they do. Everybody who was a multi-millionaire immediately after the war was a saboteur during the war. It has benefited most of the people over the years, and they are continuing in that very vein, which is very, very sad indeed. Very, very sad indeed. That is why we need a revolution. And in a revolution, you cleanse all these idiots. Well, of course, I'm not going to say what will happen to them. There will be no more. That I can assure you.
Okay. BC said, without reviewing plans, is there ongoing lobbying on the Biden administration on behalf of freedom? If so, is it already in motion? And second, the governor set another security outfit. How do we intend to counter them?
First of all, the governors cannot and have never set up any counter security outfit in the East. That's number one. They cannot do it. They don't have the manpower, because my message for people is very simple: do not join. As that. Again, I'm not at liberty to divulge precisely what we are doing in respect of our ongoing consultation on Capitol Hill. That will continue. Some of you may know that we have retained the services of a very top consultancy firm on Capitol Hill, and that work is ongoing. I am not at liberty to divulge more than that. But what I can say is, after very many years of trying, the US State Department have now come to realize that the full intention in Nigeria is to overwhelm and conquer everybody. It is not about pastoralists and farmers having a clash now. The Fulanis came to conquer, to pillage, to occupy, and to decimate, and we're not going to allow them to do that. And I'm very, very glad that the US Department, after many years of lobbying and a very huge expense, have come now round to adopt our position on that very matter. And if still you are at Compass, if you have any questions to ask, please make sure that you send it via Twitter. Send it via Twitter. I think it is on my wall, if I'm not mistaken, or you go to my Twitter page or handle or whatever they call it, and give us your question, and I will ask you later on to try and read out some of those questions, the very pertinent ones. But today we are live, we are direct, we're letting the whole world understand, and in particular, the Nigerian judge did also. You made us proud when you came out for South Place, but you're going to come out one more time. The Nigerian youths, prepare yourselves. You are going to come out again to try and defend your right to exist in the land of your ancestors. People talk about tanker explosion. I want to ask you this question. A lot of people don't understand what the Janja, the Fulani is having so for us. Every time we hear about a tanker explosion somewhere, why don't these tankers explode enough? Why are they not exploding enough? I ask, where is that all these gas explosions, these cylinders exploding and killing people doesn't happen enough? That will tell you that they know what they're doing. It's part of the coordinated attack to deplete the populations of the South, to make us become very careful and make us easy prey for the taking by Janjaweed terrorists from the Sahel. Even those who supported the coming of this Janjaweed government, this terror organization, now it's clear to my Yoruba friends that what you have as is a terrorist organization masquerading as president. There's no Buhari. Everyone knows that very well. There's no Buhari. What you have is a terror organization masquerading as presidency, now coming out to defend what is in effect indefensible. And it is very, very sad that we have the likes of Wike in River State. Pensioners are being owed money. Pensioners are being owed. There are no pensions, no money paid. He found 500 million to send to Sokoto. I told him and Tambuwal. He wants to run under PDD as vice president to Tambuwal. Wike. That was why he came and he emptied people, sent people to jail in the north, and some of them were killed. And he's a so-called political leader. That is what we are facing. That is what we are being forced to endure, and that must come to an end. Some of you don't know what we're encountering on a daily basis. It costs us a lot of money to bring out our people once they are arrested or detained illegally. We are fighting and are spending a whole, load of money to try and get them out. And the judges in the East are not helping. Igbo judges are not helping. None of them are helping because for instance, in Imo State, judges are not being paid. So when they arrest IPOB family members, a judge expects to get his pay from them, which is very, very sad indeed. And that is why our people are being detained and they're asking us to pay them money, which is very, very sad. These are people that have done nothing wrong. They don't broken any laws. They're being arrested at the moment, and our churches are not helping us. And we don't want to be against them. Go against all these judges. No judge in the north is jail. Like me, they are not in jail. Nobody's convicting them. But our own judges are not working with our people. Our own judges will be delaying and making life difficult for people who are fighting for their own freedom. And I must warn them that they are aiding the march of the Janjaweed terrorists into our territories. They are giving us money. Our people must understand this. They are giving us money. They are not paying charges. Most of them have not been paid for 6-7 months. So when you arrest an IPAB family member, they put away for you and the police to make some money. And we're saying that that is blatantly wrong, and we can no longer accept nor support it. The reason why the march towards freedom has been delayed is because most of you think that the governors must be involved. The stupid groups of Hanese must be involved. That's a mistake you're making. We outnumber them. The same way we outnumber Nigerian army by almost 100,000 to 1. If we want to take a change in our lives, we can make that very change. If we want, we can change it. If there is uprising in the east, in the west, in the middle belt, do you think that Nigerian army and police can have numbers to quell it? Of course not. So that is why they will use the newspapers to tell you about the DC. It's about religion, to get into your mind. Once we come out, there's going to be a revolution. Once we come out again, everybody must hold their territory. Nigeria hasn't got the army to go around. Never. They don't have it. Their army is about 150,000. Peanuts compared to what they are going to confront. We must rise up and say that enough is enough. That there must be enough. Once you allow credibility to come in, then you have failed. Let me also warn once again, there is no Biafra army. DSS go and whatever group like, give them guns and all of that in order to justify an attack against ESN. But you are letting the whole world know that we have not floated any Biafra army. There is none. Anything you see is the handiwork of DSS. If anybody has the courage to float an army, then you come out as I did ESN to say so. I claim responsibility for the formation of ESN. Anybody that created or that claims that he or she created their army come out and also do so, because I know it's DSS. They can never ever do it. They can never ever do it. I don't know where they shot the clip. I have no idea where they shot it. I have no idea. But I can assure you that we are looking for them and we are going to find them, because they want to provide a legitimate car or excuse for the Janjaweed army to invade the of Biafra. Is not going to happen. That's what happened. And on that note, we have come to the end of our broadcast this very day. And I do not know if we have any more questions to take. If people have actually to send more questions, if they have very difficult questions, please. Difficult questions, please. So please note that all we have is Eastern Security Network. We don't operate on the streets of our major towns. We are in the bushes hunting terrorists. And they're feeling this, I can assure you. That's something I want my Yoruba brethren to do. The same that we're doing in the East, and we're all going to be free. And as we are doing it, our march towards freedom is going to come via eruption. Spontaneous, across the board. Middle belt, the entire South, everybody is going to rise up and say enough is enough. If you don't do it, you live in perpetual bondage. Ujenna, can you hear me?
I can.
Yeah, do we have any more questions?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, please.
Okay. Jessica, Jesse stated, morning, sir. My question this morning is, since you said that you won't be the president or prime minister of Biafra when it comes,
yes,
is there any plans to get Biafra government, or are you going to be the interim president until we get elected government?
No, I will be. The Biafran people will choose who will lead them. They will start. This is not for me to impose anybody on them. The Biafran people will decide who is going to lead them. Because we are Democrats, we are Republicans, and we believe in what the entire public says, not the individual. understand that. Thank you very much. And on that very note, we have come to the end of this very broadcast this very day. In the coming weeks and days, there may be need or reason for us to come back on air to keep you updated. But for now, please bear this in mind. Anybody telling you about Biafran Army is working for the zoo, is working for this. Anybody telling you there's need for an army to march at this point in time, they are looking for this huge try to make our life difficult. They want the Janjaweed army in the bushes remain, so the bushes to remain. We're not going to tolerate. Thank all of you for watching, listening right across our platforms. From me, from here, it is still good morning.
Yes, good morning, fellow Biafrans, wonderful people. The voice you just listened to this morning is that of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu live broadcast. Today is 21st, today is 22nd January 2021. And the voice you just listened to is a live broadcast of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the people of Biafra, the great leader, the one, the only trusted and tested leader that have led this far. He is the man that is leading the people of Biafra to freedom. And all of you that have listened to his voice this morning must confirm the Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is truly passionate about the freedom of his people. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is indeed a great man. I love you so much. And the Biafrans love you. Wherever you are watching, whenever you listen to the sound of our voice, I want you to go ahead and share this program. I want you to share this program, share it extensively. Make sure this program gets to every part of the world, every forum where you are. I want you to share it on Facebook, share it on YouTube, so that our people can listen to it very, very, very attentively. Because all the things that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have said here is exactly what we need. And I want to tell you that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is the only voice that is speaking for the voiceless people around the world. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not only fighting for the freedom of Biafrans, he is also fighting for the freedom of the people and even the Hausas. Therefore, my brothers and my sisters, those of you that are listening this morning, I want you to do us a favor, by sharing this podcast so that the world can get it. The more you share it, the more you get people. The more you share it, more people get to know what is happening. The more you share it, the more you are helping Mazi Nnamdi to make sure that Biafra is restored in our lifetime. Therefore, my brothers and my sisters, all of you that listen, I say thank you so much. And my name, remember, became the Hot Biafra TV presenter. I'm always here to bring to you every detail that you need to know about struggle. I'm here to bring to you every information you need to know struggle. I'm here to bring to you whenever Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is live. I will simulcast it, I will relay it and make sure that when you listen to him. Therefore, may you bless and every one of you as you listen. Do not forget to share it as always. For me from here, it is also good morning. I love you all. Bye.